Hi, my name is Jared Hawkins. I'm an assistant professor with Utah State University Extension and an associate marriage and family therapist. And during my work with couples, I often hear conversations that don't really go anywhere. We all have them. We start talking about how you didn't take out the trash, and then suddenly we're talking about things that happened 5, 10 years ago, and it seems like nothing ever gets resolved. So I've had a lot of couples say, yeah, we try all the right techniques. We use the I statements, we try to actively listen, but it just never goes anywhere. What I've learned over the last several years as a couples therapist is that there's work that we need to put in prior to communicating that has to do with tuning into our emotions so that we can understand our relationship needs. So today, I'm going to give a few tips for doing exactly that, how to tune in and understand what your emotions are trying to tell you. The Yale Center for Emotional Intelligence, uses the acronym RULER to describe components of emotional intelligence. You'll notice that recognizing, understanding, and labeling your emotions comes before expressing your emotions. It's important to identify what our emotions are so that we can learn what needs we have in the relationship, and then we can communicate them to avoid getting lost in the weeds when we're talking with our partners. So before I give a few tips, let's first recognize that our emotions are messages. Because close relationships have promoted human survival, we have developed mechanisms to signal emotional distress when our close relationships feel threatened. That's why some small issue of like my partner didn't take out the trash can suddenly feel really big and scary, like feeling like I can't rely on my partner, so my relationship feels insecure. But what often happens is we feel some discomfort from the emotion. It is distressing, and so we don't want to feel it. So often we try to avoid it, and by doing that, we don't learn from it. We don't learn what our emotion is and the way that our relationship may feel insecure. When we're able to tune into the emotion, we can learn exactly what we need and then communicate that. Hey, I feel this need in me to feel like we're on the same team. I need to feel like I'm supported. And when you take out the trash, it helps me feel like you're supporting me. Again, tuning into our emotion can help us get right to the core of what we need and make communication way easier. So here are a few tools to help you tune into your emotion. So let's start by mindfully acknowledging our thoughts, emotions, or the sensations that we feel in our bodies. So take a few deep breaths and just recognize, I might feel some tension in my shoulders, or I feel some pressure in my head or my chest. And when you're able to tune in, hopefully you're able to feel some of what your body's telling you. Now, one of the benefits of tuning in this way is that we can avoid the rumination. My partner always does this, never takes out the trash. He's such an awful person. He gets that from his mother. He's probably a narcissist, He needs to go to therapy. And we just start to play out in our minds over and over again all these thoughts we have about the situation. When we're able to tune in, we can get behind all of that into the hurt or the sadness or whatever is like the core feeling. It's like hiding behind all those thoughts and the frustration and the anger. Again, it helps us to get to the core issue a lot quicker. Now, as you do this, as you tune into your body, here are a few tips. Visualize, vocalize, and validate. I often visualize my emotions as parts of myself that are coming to me with a message. So a lot of times when I tune in, something that's really common, at least for me, is I'll feel kind of this pressure in my head. And when I visualize this, I have this image of me like crawling on the ground, just like clearly very exhausted. And when that picture comes to mind, I'm like, okay, I should probably relax. My body's trying to tell me that it's tired and I need to rest. And that becomes very clear when I visualize that part of me. Again, with that, it's helpful to visualize these as parts of you. It's not all of you, it's just a part, it's just a message. So the second one is to vocalize. You can give a voice to that part of you as if that part is just speaking, and that can help you know what it wants, what it needs. So sometimes I'll journal or voice type and just get that, all those feelings out. And then when I do that, when I read that, I'm like, oh, this is clearly what that part of me needs. The third thing that I would suggest is to validate that part of you. So if I'm tuning into my body and I feel this part of me that's like, oh, I feel not cared about because my partner didn't take out the trash, my response can be to that part, wow, yeah, that is hard. It is hard for that part of me to not feel cared about. And I can feel some compassion for that. Now, that helps put me in a really helpful mind space, because if there's a part of me that I'm seeing from a mindful place, then it's almost like I'm advocating for that part to my partner. So I can invite my partner in to also have compassion on this part of me. This is very different from, the protective part of us that is speaking to our partner. That's like, get away from me. Stop doing this. You're bad. And it's protecting, but often that is pushing away our partner. So those are just a few ways to help you tune into your emotional experience and identify your relationship needs. I want to say also that this type of mindful introspection is illuminating because it can help you know what to do. So when you're able to identify this, you can decide what to do with it. You can decide, well, now that I know what it is, I feel like it's not a big deal and it's fine. Or now that I, can see this need, I can have compassion on it and then I'll be fine. You may also decide, okay, this is important for my partner to see this part of me. Then you can decide to express that to your partner. So in practice, again, I mentioned I have had couples who come in and they feel like they just can't communicate about anything. And one of these couples, actually, the husband decided to take some time to mindfully explore his feelings that come up during these conversations. And he journaled them. He just got that, that voice out, and then he did a little editing and read his feelings to his wife. His core message was, all of these years I was reaching for you and I felt rejected and unwanted. After he finished, the wife said, wow, I feel more connected to you than I have in a really long time. The husband was dumbfounded and was like, we have conversations all the time that are awful. Like, why do you feel connected to me now? And the wife said, because you were so honest about your feelings. It wasn't about me, like what I was doing wrong. It was just about your inner world. I realized that this type of conflict can be extremely bonding when the focus is on someone's internal experience and inviting the partner in to help have compassion on that part. Now, as you tune into your emotions, sometimes that can be difficult. There's a lot of static, but if you take the time to be mindful and visualize, vocalize, and validate your emotions, you can understand your relationship needs and then clearly articulate those to your partner. Thank you so much for tuning in, and hope this has been helpful.